Welcome to another episode of Racing to Learn. We are a nonprofit that gets kids excited about math and science. We're working on our 1990 Mazda RX-7 today. We're doing an oil change, and you'll notice that we're doing a time-lapse recording of this. One of our first, just playing around with the iPhone settings here. So the oil is, of course, the lifeblood of any internal combustion engine. You've got to keep the internal parts lubricated, and any reduction in friction will lead to longer engine longevity, better fuel efficiency, lower running temperatures, etc. So we're using a synthetic engine oil in this LT1. This is a 1994 Chevy GM 350 cubic inch or 5.7 liter LT1 engine. So we're using the properly spec'd out engine weight, and we're using a synthetic. So Valvoline is our synthetic of choice. No sponsorships or whatnot involved in that. It's just proven the best in this particular application. We used to use something called German Castrol. So it was Castrol synthetic engine oil that was made in Germany, but we no longer use that. So actually, I'm not even sure what, I should check what we use. Maybe we use Pennzoil Platinum. I actually take that back. You'll see that Pennzoil Platinum that I flashed up. I take that back. I got the two mixed up since we've got both in the garage. We're actually using the Pennzoil Platinum synthetic. Most of these synthetics will not vary too much. If you get one of the major brands, Pennzoil, we actually used to shy away from because it was made from Pennsylvania crude oil. If you get the dyno oil, if you get the non-synthetic oil, but their Pennzoil Platinum fully synthetic oil was actually recommended on the forums, and one forum that we like to reference whenever selecting a new engine oil, if it's been a while, is the Bitog, BITOG. Their oil forums, so people will send their oil to get tested at laboratories, just to see the different basically the different combustion byproducts, how the oil held up over its usage. We're not that geeky, or we probably just don't want to spend the money. We'd rather just learn from the experiences and lab results of others. So for this latest oil change on our LT1 engine, we decided to go with a Pennzoil Platinum. Plus, it was on sale, or there was a rebate at our AutoZone. We always check the circulars before we have to do an oil change, just to see what's on sale. You're generally going to find your best oil prices when they're on sale at your Pep Boys, your Advanced Auto Parts. We don't have those around here in California. But you're around here in California, it's O'Reilly's and Pep Boys and AutoZone. So we generally get our oil there whenever it's on sale with the filter. That's usually your best call. All right, here is the oil cap oil cap wrench that we were missing. Couldn't find the old one. Probably we sold it with this car when before we bought it back. We basically got rid of all of our associated parts. Unfortunately, we had no idea that we were going to buy this car back. You can check out the playlist in the video description for the full backstory. But we finally picked up one of these, and we're going to go ahead and use it. So usually you're not going to have to use an oil wrench like this, but the previous owner tightened up the filter beyond beyond finger tight, or hand tight, whatever you want to call it. You just need that gasket on that oil filter to seal against its mating surface there. And you don't need to, overly tighten it. Again, unfortunately, we didn't have an oil wrench on hand that would fit this particular filter, so we had to go and get one from our local O'Reilly's. Fortunately, we've got one pretty close by. But always good to make sure that you have all the needed tools. And, this is the first time we've given the car an oil change since we sold the car back in 2014 to buy the 94 FD RX-7, the last generation, third generation RX-7 that we had with the 440 horse LS1. I always regret selling that car, but unfortunately, you've got to move on. Didn't think I'd have time to work on real cars again, so we were working on our RC cars with the kids. But as fate would have it, one day, my daughter, who's in this video, suddenly started, I shouldn't say one day, but she gradually started getting more mature after she turned 4. And, suddenly I felt the itch to work on a real car again. So here we are filling up using the Pennzoil synthetic. Just using the funnel there so we don't make a mess. But long story short, after I sold the FD, started hankering for working on a car again, and went on to Craigslist, typed in RX-7, and lo and behold, I saw my original 1990 RX-7 that you see here. Somebody was selling it. There were actually 3 owners in between, and it ended up back in our garage. It lived a rough life during its time away from us. It had gotten hit. It had, you can see the black wide body fenders here. It was all white minus the black aluminum hood. That's still there. But it had lived a rough life, gotten hit, had a salvage title. It's dented and pulled out. The sheet metal was pulled out on the passenger side there. But car really isn't the same after it's been in a major accident like that. So we won't be road racing this, doing anything with a lot of rigor on the chassis, just because it has been in that large accident. But we're having fun with it. Just continuing to teach kids how cars work, working on them, getting our hands dirty. Just having fun with these. So, to change oil on this car, you've got to jack it up. We've got one jack under the front subframe there. The strongest part of the car that actually supports, I shouldn't say the strongest, but a very strong point in the car because it has to support the weight of the engine, as well as we've got it jacked up from the side, driver's side rail there. So we finished the oil change here, doing the final checks, just making sure that everything's good to go. Got the drain plug in, all that sort of stuff. And we will get this car started here in a second. Thanks again for watching.
I can hear.
All right, so we got the oil changed. And
Oh man, in the back you cannot
key, go to the right. See that?
Okay, is it symmetrical or?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I turn it to the
Is it magical? Is it going to be magical?
The shifter's in neutral. Can you jiggle the shifter?
Is it going to be magical?
It's gonna be very. That's good. Yeah, you're in neutral.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
And the bricks behind so.
Yep. So just put your foot on the brake, the middle pedal.
Hold it down.
Yeah, hold it down.
Down.
Yep. Yeah, away from you. Yep. To the right.
changed.
That
Oh my god. Ah.
Let me open the door for you.
Oh my god.
You could have revved it a little bit.
What? This thing's insane. Oh my
Yeah, so
god.
it smells a little bit.
The smell of progress.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I just covered my nose. I just pinched my nose when it smells like yucky.
Yeah, let's get out of here. It smells yucky.
Awesome smell.
Yes, we look great.
Ah, that's so cool.